Welcome to the Crafty Mini, and this video is going to be a bit different. We are doing a review on a product that I've been looking to get hold of for a long time. To be fair, pretty much since they first came out. So these are Monument Hobbies Pro-Acryl paint range, and yeah, we're going to get into it. It's a very interesting product and do a bit of a product review, something different on the channel. I'm going to be as unbiased as I can. Please bear in mind I've paid for these out of my own cash. I'll go into that in a bit more depth in the video. And I've been painting with them for about a month or so now, sort of behind the scenes, just getting used to them. And yeah, we're going to get into it. So before we start completely on the ProACryl range, a couple of things. I started off like most people will with GW and Citadel paints, back when it was the old, I'll see if I can get an image of it. So it was the old plastic tubs with a white rough plastic lid that you just sort of push down. I think they're the Cote d'Ivoire range now or something like that. Painted with them for years. Got into Army Painter, bought their Mega Paint set. Had that for about 2-3 years. Really liked those paints. It was a different medium, it was a gel. And then a friend of mine who I was talking to who did paint said, you know, try Vallejo, because in terms of like blending and things, they're easy to manipulate and whatnot. So bought the Vallejo Mega Paint set and a couple of editions. I think one of the ones was the Panzer Armour set or something like that, World War II paint sort of set. And then gave my Army Paint ones away to my friend. Painted with Vallejo for about 6 years, I think it was. Really liked the paints, it was my go-to for everything. But when these came out, I really wanted to try them, and I've basically been waiting till A, I can afford them, and B, they got back in stock because they sold out massively and you know, really quick worldwide. I could get them imported from America, but it just cost too much. Right, so that out of the way. The Monument Hobbies Pro-Acryl range. So a couple of things. This paint set, it's the base set. I got onto it was on Element Games. I had to wait for them to get back in stock because, as I say, they were sold out. Off the top of my head, I believe I paid £82, £83 for them because there was a slight discount, as Element Games do with a lot of their stuff. So thank you very much for that. Not sponsored by them, but you know, it's good. It's good when we can get anything for a bit cheaper. And in this set, you get 24 colours in total. So it's a pretty good set. It's a low number count than what I'm used to. So for example, the Army Paint set I bought, if you exclude the washes and things like that, I think it was about 50 paints. The Vallejo one, with the bear in mind I did buy 2 extra boxes, but that currently stands at 80. So going down to 24 is quite interesting, a bit different for me. I like to have a lot of different shades of things that I can mix and whatnot. But yeah, so the last month of painting. So in the background you're going to have some footage of me just painting up my old Sheriff, the fun kit bash that I did with one of the new Citadel models. And I'm going to be concentrating on the squig. And so I've gone for a sort of, it's the dark umber, and bear with me, the bold Pyrrole red, I believe that's how you pronounce it. And just doing a mix of that for the actual sort of undercoat, and then I add more of the red in and build up the layers. And so a couple of things I've noticed with this paint. So super matte finish for a start, really nice. I prefer it to, because Citadel I found was too glossy, and I'd always end up having to put a matte coat on before I'd go and start doing other colours, just because it helps me register when I'm looking at the miniature and figuring out a paint scheme. If I can have it looking how I want it, if it's not too shiny, I find it easier on my eyes to figure that stuff out. That's just a personal preference. So I appreciate the matte finish. There's obviously other people out there who wouldn't, and if they want like a glossier or a more satin finish. Because the amount of pigments that is actually in whatever the medium is in these bottles, because I've read the bottles and I can't actually find it. I'll have to have a look online, and if I find it, I'll put it up on screen. But yeah, it's really high density of pigment. So a couple of things with that is the lighter colours are amazing. You can put them on and you don't need as many coats. Like the yellow is fantastic, it's actually really good. You still need a couple of coats, but it's not as, because yellow, as we all know as miniature painters, is that one colour that we all sort of go, ugh. You know, you have to find ways around it. whether that's like base coating in a purple first or some other things. But also because of that, because it's high density, or higher than I'm used to I should say, you can push the paints a lot more. I can add a lot more water in and get more out of it. So especially when you come to do sort of layers and transitions and glazing and things, you can just keep adding water for a lot longer and get a nice smoother transition out of it. So when you're doing your layers on your skin, for example on this squig, I can really push the pigments. I was really surprised at how thick it sort of goes on. The bottles, because I remember that was a big unique thing when they first came out. So like I prefer dropper bottles over pots. I just find it easier, less likely to spill. Now with these, they've got like a screw top. Now after using them for a month, I've found that the paint doesn't clog it up and they don't seem to unscrew. When you put your paint on the palette and you screw the little cap back down, I do notice that there's like a nipple of colour that gets left, and I know some people might see that could be a bit of a waste. I just put that on the palette as well, and try and use it up where I can. But that is, that's something to make aware. Slight offside of that, which is, this may not be important to a lot of people, because that paint's left on the top of the bottle, it's really easy to see the tone of the colour as well, because sometimes because the label covers up a lot of the actual bottle, and you can only get these little bands of what the actual paint's supposed to look like. But yeah, you can just see on sort of tip of the bottle and be like, yep, that's the colour. I find that easier. It's quick and easy to pick up. You get a little bit more paint in them than you do compared to Vallejo, so you get 22mm, and in Vallejo you get 17, I believe it is. GW, I'm not sure how much mil you get in there, because I know it's like 24mm for the washes. I can't remember for the actual paints, but again, if I find it, I'll pop it up on top of the screen. So yes, you get a little bit more paint. An individual pot is not that badly priced either, to be honest. It's about the same as what you pay for GW, Vallejo. Army paint is probably a bit cheaper. So, something else I've noticed, because you only get the 24 colours in the base set. Now I know there are expansion sets out there, and there's like you can get a set of different hues of brown and whatnot. One thing I will say, that for me personally, because I like to blend colours anyway. So looking at my Vallejo ranges, they're in front of me now on the desk as I'm recording this. I think I counted about 80 different paints. I probably use, I would say, 20 at most consistently. There's a couple of browns I always use. There's two particular of the sort of black / dark greys that I always use. Greens, it can vary a little, but there's about 3 or 4. Reds, there's only really 2. Blue, again 2, and so on. So there's a lot of paints that are just sitting there, and I can see with the bottles how the paint separate because they've not been used, and they've all got agitators in and things. But because I'm not using them, they're just sort of sitting there and separating the pigment from medium. So I've realised I don't need that many colours basically, and because I like the mixing anyway, these Pro-Acryl, I will say, force your hand a little bit to mix, which I don't think is a bad thing, because you're getting better colour transitions, you're getting smoother results, and more natural colours as well for the most part. So that's a plus or a minus for people. It depends. Like, I will say, although I don't use it, I do like the Citadel sort of base layer highlight technique. It does make sense. It's a nice easy way. But then you're buying certain paints that you're not going to use as much, and it's definitely the mistake I made with my Vallejo. I've got all these paints here, and as I say, about 2/3, maybe a touch more, I don't actually use. So for the 24 paints in the base set, I have pretty much got everything I need, I think. The only 2 colours I'm yet to use are the magenta and purple. But I have got a project coming where I'm going to use those colours. But if they're anything like the rest of them, yeah, they're going to be absolutely fine. So I suppose the big question is this going to change my paint collection? Am I going to solely use Monument Hobbies or still my Vallejo? Well, the answer is a bit of a strange one. Yes and no, but let me elaborate. I think for sort of, this is going to sound strange, but the bread and butter of my painting, yeah, I think I'm going to stick with ProACryl, to be honest with you. The pigment density, the fact I can do a lot more with it, and because of colour mixing, I've actually got more options overall, and you can be really subtle with the changes in shades and hue. Yeah, these are going to be my everyday sort of use paints. Now the caveat to that is there's certain paints that I'd really struggle to get, and certain washes and inks and things. So obviously those from other companies I'll keep. Like I love GW's, I think we call them shades now. So the Athenian Camo shade, Northern Oil, Agrax and Reuteland, always got a bottle of those knocking around somewhere. My Green Stuff World colour shift paints, obviously. There's nothing like that in the set, so I'll keep them. And a few other little bits and things, you know, blood effects and rust effects and whatnot. But yeah, otherwise I do genuinely think the ProACryl is going to replace the paints I use on a day-to-day basis. So I'll be mentioning it in videos, because I've recorded some stuff where I'm using these paints. I'll mention it when I have, and you can see the results for yourself. In the background, as I say, I'm painting this Orc Sheriff that I've kit bashed. The squig came out really, really nice. It's a lovely finish on it. It's really nice and matte. The transitions from that sort of mahogany red right up to the orange that it ends up as, beautiful. I'm still doing some work on the other colours on him, like the green flesh and whatnot, but so far it looks really good. So yeah, would I recommend other people buy them? It's £82, £83, and then packaging, P&P. So if you can afford it, probably. Will it make you a better painter? No, probably not. To be brutally honest, yes, you force yourself to do more colour mixing, which in the end will help with your painting skills. But you've got to learn all that as you go anyway through the process. I think I don't think that, you know, just buying these expensive paints make you a better painter. That's still got to come with time and practice and perseverance anyway. So I think if you can afford them, yeah, give them a go. Or even better, don't buy a full set like I did. Maybe just buy a couple of paints, a couple of pots, and just try them. Just like maybe just the primary colours, and a white and a black, and just go from there, because you can mix a lot of colours that are in the set from those anyway, and just try them. I think of the cheapest I found them is about £4 a bottle, which when you look at other paint companies, that's about a par for what you're going to spend. The nice things are you get a bit more paint in the bottle. They do come with agitators, or at the very least the base set do. Whether the individuals do or not, I don't know, but I would assume so. And they're really, really good coverage, and they're very sort of dense in pigments. So yeah, it's definitely down to the individual, but I think they're worth a shot. They're really nice paints. I'm enjoying painting with them. For me personally, and the style I paint, I think they are going to replace Vallejo in the long run. There's still a couple of colours that I really like in the Vallejo range that I don't want to get rid of yet. But definitely in the long run they're going to replace them. So thank you for indulging me on this review. Something completely different. I've never done this before on the channel, but it was because I've gone out and spent my money on these. It's something I've been really wanting to get, and I've noticed certain things whilst using them. I thought I'd just put it out there because it might be helpful to others. Because like mentioning that finding your paint style, I think we do get newbies who fall in the trap of, oh well, if I buy these paints and these tools and this particular wet palette and these brushes, I'm going to be an amazing painter. And that's not the case. It's perseverance, it's practice, and enjoying yourselves and having fun with the hobby. And by doing that, you start learning other techniques, you start getting better and things. So I just wanted to put it out there because I didn't want people falling in the trap of, you go and spend £80 or however much it is where you are, and you don't get the results that you see on YouTube or Instagram or other platforms, and then you get disheartened. So it's still sort of reaffirming that theme from my previous sort of crafty chat. So yeah, Thank you very much for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. There's a couple of images I'm going to chuck up now of the squig. He's pretty much finished, I think, at this point. I'm going to maybe do an extra highlight on the teeth and the sort of bone protrusions and get on to painting the rest of him. But we'll see you on the next video. We've got some interesting stuff coming up. I'm doing a really cool kit bash for a competition, which I'm going to share with everyone. And yeah, we'll see you on the next video. So cheers for listening. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and all that good stuff. Keep an eye out as well on, if for those who follow Just Outlook Gaming, because I do a podcast with them and Divinity Omen. Links will be in the description, and I'll put a little link here in the video for both of their channels. Every couple of weeks or so, where we talk about gaming, being a YouTuber and stuff. And we've got something cool coming up where I've gone out and bought the Citadel starter set with the 4 Tyranids, I think the Termagants in there, and just those colours. And what I'm going to do is show them, try and teach them how to paint, and just see what we come up with individually by following the Citadel, you know, this colour for this section of the miniature and so on, and just see how it's like. And this will be Just Outlook Gaming and Divinity Omen, and seeing how they interpret that information and paint their first ever miniature. So it's going to be something quite cool. So keep an eye out for that. I'll link it up in the channel when it does go live. But thank you all very much for listening and watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers.